Well, everyone, this is Naomi Thomas, and she's behind these creatures with large features called the Thinkables, and we're declaring war on grumbling.
We're declaring war on grumbling, and it's so cute, isn't it? The little problem with that is grumbling isn't, and it's not a child's play. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I found myself really entrenched with depression. I was still going back and forth in life of immorality. And it was really a battle for my life. It had been since I was a young girl. And I have this dream one night about these 3 little creatures with large features, because we all dream in cartoons or something like that. I was not on drugs, so that's not what was going on. But in the dream, the creatures walk into the room and they open the door and they put their hands on the hip and they go, "Oh, thank you." So I'm looking at these things and I wake up and I go, I know 2 things for sure. I know the Lord is speaking to me about grumbling. I need to be thankful. And I knew that I was supposed to write a children's book, problem being I'm not a writer. And so I tried this once before to do 40 days of just giving thanks to the Lord, and I failed miserably. So I felt the grace of the Lord in my life at that time, and I decided I was gonna give thanks, but it wasn't with a 40-day period, it was until. I was gonna give thanks until. And so I lay in bed one night, I put my head on the pillow, and I hear in my head, it was a certain afternoon and not a thing seemed right. Our car was broken, money spent. There was no hope in sight. Around the house, the scene was gloomy, and I'm going, I'm not a writer, but I know that's good. So I jotted it down. So as I'm scribbling this, it just keeps coming, and it wasn't in its perfect form. I had a friend of mine who helped me edit it, but it made sense. And as I began my own journey of thanking the Lord, something became very clear. It was not about giving him thanks for the temporal. It was about giving him thanks for the eternal. We're all wanting to become diamonds, not realizing that diamonds are just a piece of coal that is worthless, but it's the pressure in its life that makes it into the beautiful rock. And what I was beginning to know is that I needed to thank the Lord for the pressures of my life. That I needed to thank the Lord that I was a single mom so that I could depend on him. That I needed to thank the Lord for the years in which I'd entered into prisons of my own making, and what I thought was the Lord's rejection was actually him leading me to love him and to get to know him. So the challenge became was recognizing that every area of my life, he was fully in control, and he was asking me to surrender, and in the place of surrender, thank him that the work that he was doing in my life was invaluable. In 1 Corinthians 10:10, it gives us the example of the children of Israel, that it was grumbling that kept them from entering into the promised land. So prior to this dream, the Lord gave me one other verse, and it was 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 11. And he says, in the last days, men would be, and he gives you the list of immorality. But then he says a warning. He says, avoid men such as these, because they creep into the household of God, where they deceive idle women who are ensnared with many passions. They're always learning, but they never come to the knowledge of truth. And then in James 4, he says, it's your tongue that sets this ship on fire and provokes passions that are just downright immoral and unrighteous. So I put 2 and 2 together. I figured if I open my mouth and I begin to speak differently, the passions that take this ship aflame move it about a different way. I've got 1 second, but I'm gonna share this story with you. I'm really sorry for stealing his time.
No, this is good, you're good.
But
Naomi,
I was just sharing the story this afternoon.
Naomi, keep going.
Okay.
Except for, I'm gonna add something. This is her book, and she didn't bring it out in the first service, and I said, why? And then she said, here's what they told me. Naomi said, I don't want to promote myself. Is that the reason you didn't show this?
I mean, because I want it to be about the complaint area in our lives.
This is a great book. I am promoting you.
That's right.
So finish what you were saying and tell about Sarah Palin, too.
Oh, yeah, I will do that. I'll do that.
And Wes, you ought to see your face. You're looking at her like this going, I'm over here going, you're under conviction.
This is
Keep
strong.
going. Here, wave that book.
This is life-saving.
Tell about Sarah Palin, too.
The Thinkables.
You know what? And I realized another thing was Matthew 18. He was speaking to me as a child. We all look at it and say that's so cute, but it's because we've become so grown up. We really have. We've looked at our Father God and we've said, I'm grown up and I can do this. And he's coming to us as a good dad, and he's giving us a childlike reminder that we wouldn't take the words that he says and go, I've been there, done that. I bought the t-shirt, I'm wearing it. Really, you guys, this is about being able to say, who am I? What am I? if it wasn't for him, and that thanksgiving would be provoked out of our mouths when we realize these pressures are valuable. These pressures are right. All the places where we feel that we've been overlooked, we've been discounted, we've been made minimal, that we are less, whatever it is, they're complaints. And in the complaint, what we are saying is this: God, you are not good. Your leadership over my life is no good. You have overlooked me. You are no good. When we complain about others in our lives, what I'm saying is, this man shouldn't be in my life. You don't know why he's in my life. You should take him out of my life. And when I complain about myself, what I'm saying to him is, the work that you are doing in me is no good. So the war on grumbling is those three areas of our lives. We cannot complain against God. We cannot complain against others, and we cannot complain against ourselves. It is the invaluable thing, and who knows that at the cusp of this, giving thanks, we would be a people who see another awakening. That instead of continually grumbling against our Father, we're good children, and we not only enter his gates with thanksgiving, but we enter his presence with the giving of thanks. What have we been doing all this time? If we've been complaining in his presence about his leadership, what's going on? Is he hearing the words that we are speaking? And so, humor story to leave the intensity. Last week, I called the War on Grumbling. It started October 20th. And Wednesday, I fly to Florida. I go to speak at a women's conference. And I take my son with me because I'm super mom, and that's what super moms do when they go to ministry trips. Not. And so I have my son with me. I get to the house. I put him on the bed, and he falls off the bed. It's 11:15, about midnight. I'm in a different city. Don't have insurance. Off we go to the hospital. He's got a broken wrist. So he's fine. So, just kidding. So we get there, and I'm going, no grumbling. I'm so ticked off right now. No grumbling. I just called that war on grumbling. So the next day, I'm not ready for this. My son, because he hasn't slept, he's got diarrhea all over the place. The diaper is I am just stressed out, okay, folks? Moms, you can relate. And I'm driving in the car, and I'm going, Lord, this is not funny. You've got to tell me what it is you are doing. And he gives me, now mind you, I am the person who dreamt in cartoons, right? So bear with me. So as I'm driving, I realize, oh my gosh, I am a little black coffee bean. And the Lord is grinding me down, and he's making the perfect cup of coffee. Now, wait a minute, you little vanilla beans, don't you worry. Because there's a refiner's fire, and he will roast you. He will grind you down. He will have 2 cups of coffee, and he'll look at both of them and go, yeah. If you're dealing with anger, with bitterness, with immorality, it doesn't matter what it is. You begin to approach his throne and give him thanks for what he has done in your lives. I'm telling you, the frame that you have will be ensnared with a whole different set of passions, and it will lead you to freedom. Amen.
Amen. Now, hang on, just one more thing. So we're declaring war on grumbling. Yes. We're already in it a little bit. 40 days of choosing to be thankful. Choosing to be thankful for. And the way that we do that is we're doing it with families, with friends. You can go to the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/thethankable, and just bombard the airways with what you are thanking the Lord for. And you can do the temporal things, but place in those your testimony of how he is giving you a renewed perspective for eternity. Write it on a board. We, as a family, we have a little whiteboard. We're writing down every day what we're thankful for. Because you want a culture of thanksgiving at home, our businesses, our private life, our ministry life, everywhere. Culture of thanksgiving. A culture. And not just a movement that we tweet and go, yay, yay, and it's great for a couple of weeks. Let's really do it. But let's do this thing and make our lives as vessels that are thankful to the Lord. Thank you, Naomi. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thanks.